All right. Thanks, guys, for coming today. Sorry, this talk will be in English because, my entire career I've been working in English-speaking environment only, and I have no idea how to say some words in Russian or Ukrainian. It would be really hard. However, if you will have any questions, you can ask them in any language of your choice after the presentation. And I'm here today to give you some kind of a soft talk, and I think it's a good talk to enjoy it with your beer, which I kind of was put in this position after the beer, and it's hard to fight it. But I think thank you for coming. You are awesome, and I really appreciate you being here now and choosing it over the beer. Thank you. So this talk will have a lot of pictures, and it's themed as like Predator and Predator's movie. Heroes, you can see Arnie and Predator, and please be aware that any resemblance with living or dead person is absolutely coincidental, and don't take it personally. So let's get started, and let's talk about tips and tricks for efficient white box security audit for red teamers. So I try to build it to be very practical and very enjoyable by the red team side, but it can fit both. So let's get started. So look at this picture. If you try to assess the colors there, you can see the reddish in the left corner. So the red team will be represented by Arnold Schwarzenegger in the left corner. In the right corner, we have Predator, who is represents the blue team, or like your customer. Because if we talk about white box security audit, your customer orders you to do some pen test, some audit of their product, of their code and their application. And basing on this picture, when you start working or when you get this assignment, what happens next? Oh, something like this. It gets a bit messy. It may get a bit of misunderstanding in the way. There may be casualties. There may be lots of disappointment. Why is it happening so? I'll talk about it later. But first of all, what all of us are looking for. Let's say, you are as a pen tester. You are hired by the company, by some external company. And all we are, from the company side and from the pen tester side, we look for this. We look for happiness, we look for peace of mind, we look for smooth work, and maybe a bit of this. It's also possible to stay close to each other and work together. And this talk will be about how to work together for these very different entities, very different creatures, how we can work together. And before I start, there are just a few words about my background. Today I work in Stockholm for a company called Snow Software. The company produces software products for technology asset management, which is like the integral component of security as well, because we need to know what runs on the networks. And it's a very interesting position to work in, and I'm playing the role of product security lead. So I overlook the product security and I commission the pen test. So I'm kind of on the blue side. I'm on the Predator side. Previously, I worked with GE and Microsoft as a consultant, and I focused on automation and on development process improvement. So this is why this talk will have pieces of both. So just to make sure the scope is understood correctly, I pick up the white box security audit because it has the most collaboration between red and blue team possible. It's not about setting up a phishing attack, or it's not about investigating malware attack as we saw in the previous slide. This is about having access to code, having access to working application, and finding vulnerabilities in them. So let's get started. Chapter 0, prologue. To get a better understanding, you need first to know your enemy. So who is that predator? What kind of creature is that? And what is it expecting from you? First, let's look at the following piece of the movie. So this is how Arnold, how you guys, how pen tester sees the company that orders a pen test. It's something elusive. You don't know exactly what are their goals is. You don't know exactly how their processes are built. They just say, hey guys, we need this audit because some customer, our customer asked us for it, for example, or something else. And for the company, pen testers are something like this. It's the creature that lives in a totally different spectrum. So you see, there is a difference between the mindset, between the nature of these creatures. And if we go further, we can see that Predator, the company, cares about compliance. They care about vulnerability management. They care about secure development lifecycle, trainings. So they have their own thing going. And at the same time, when pen testers start working with the application, they think about different types of vulnerabilities. They think about how to break the stuff. At the same time, company is still on and it still keeps building the stuff. So when they get the report, they may start saying something, hey, there is too many findings, or there is too little finding. Is the report too cryptic, or is it too simple? And sometimes it happens in the same sentence. So all of this happens because they are very different creatures. And we want to start collaborating. We want to start working together. And the first step to that is stop thinking about them as your enemy. It's the partner. We need to understand that the company has some resources. They have knowledge about their products. It's not just about breaking their stuff. It's more about using their own power, like in Jiu-Jitsu, to help you to break their stuff. So let's start with preparation. Let's say you have 1 week before the assignment starts. So what can you do to make the collaboration, the future collaboration, more efficient? First of all, what's required is to find out what they really need, what they look for in terms of this pen test. Is it just checking the mark about, yeah, we've done this audit, because we have to do it every year, or are they looking for improving security continuously? And the first type of organization, they're harder to work with. The second type, they're much easier. They look forward to your finding, they look forward to improvement. And by understanding their nature, you can always adjust your work better. The second thing, which is really important, is to ensure you kill all the possible delays before you even start. Because the delays, think about it, the company that hires you pays you the rate like 10 times higher than their normal developer, comparing to that. And 1 hour of your delay, because you have to drink coffee because something doesn't work, costs them like 10 hours of work of a normal developer. If a developer browses Facebook for 10 hours, what would happen to him or her? He or she will be fired. Because, I mean, it's too expensive to allow these delays to crawl into your workflow. And to keep delay, it's important to understand, to kill delays, it's important to understand that you are playing the leading role. The entire show is on you in terms of pen tests. And if there are any delays which were caused by the customer side, but they kill your productivity, and if the final report is not good enough for the customer, they will not hire you again because of their own issues, because of their own inefficiency. So you can do something about it. So to do that, think about this guy. He's a star. He has his own rider. So what it means, he sends some requirements to the producer saying, okay, I need this and that on the set. So you can do the same. 1 week before your assignment starts, you can start with sending what you will need, like just the list, what you will need during the assignment. So, for example, what we found with our pen testers and the guys we hired, what is the most important thing for them, it was the environment where they can build, debug, and deploy our product. So it's not just the working instance of the application. It's rather the place where you can build it from Visual Studio, where you can set breakpoints, where you can trace the variable values and do it like to see the internals of the program. And usually it takes some time to set up, and it's not a trivial task. And if they can do it beforehand, it will save you lots of time. Another thing is make sure they give you fast servers, fast laptops, and book all the meeting rooms. Because, I mean, we've seen pen testers working on the machine where application takes like 50 seconds to open. This is not efficient. This is terrible. So make sure the servers are fast, or just say, we need fast servers, right? Working email never works. MFA, security badges, how many times you were locked out of the building because they didn't issue you a security badge because they didn't have time for that. Again, source code permission and access to internal tools. Also something which may take time to adjust, 1-2 days, and they are killing your productivity, they are killing your report, and that's bad. And finally, you will be assigned handler or asked to be assigned with a handler, because the handler is the person who is responsible for you, is like commissioner of pen tests. So usually I'm that person in my company, and I want to be as close to pen testers as possible. But there are different companies, and make sure you have the contact of the person who will help you, who will show you around the lunch map, restaurants, stuff like that. So the last step in the prologue is getting the intel. You want to use power of the company against themselves. So ask for the resources that match your team style. So you can get some knowledge for front brute force attack, or I don't know, using tools and doing all this, break all this stuff for 2 days exercise. Or you can read the code and you can go there like an ambush, like on this picture. So ask for documentation, prepare it. Team backlog, sometimes they have very interesting items under bugs and security bugs tags. Just go through them and figure out, okay, maybe you can exploit it further. Don't be shy asking for security scan reports. Security scan reports, don't think that you are just stealing their job. If there is a security scan report with open finding, which is not fixed, why cannot you take that finding, exploit it further, and show how you can take over the entire application with that small thing? And then you can mention that it was initially found by your security tool. Threat models and wiki pages are also valid sources of intelligence. And again, remember, it's up to you and up to your team style which resources to take. So just to recap, so before the assignment starts, find the need, what they need from the pen test, kill the delays, and get the intel. So next is first contact. It's when you are entering the building and it's your first day at the assignment. So you are at the point 0. The first thing I would recommend you to do is to eliminate internal politics. There is lots of internal politics in product development organizations. There is the eternal conflict between business and development. They hate each other. They always try to pull it in their own direction. And you know where the pen test is in this picture? It's up there. It's outside. And what you want to do, you want to move it somewhere to the intersection of these circles. So what really helps is to start your entire exercise with a meeting with business and development in the same room. And what I'm saying here is just grab the people from development part of the team, grab the product owner, grab program or product manager, and put them together and agree what is important in terms of business versus technical rating. What I'm saying here, for example, for the developer, some vulnerability may seem minor, but from the product perspective, it will be crucial. For example, like the Equifax breach, the data exfiltration caused them to be the most screwed up company in terms of data losses in recent years. And obviously somebody didn't think about that from the business perspective, about possibility of that data exfiltration. So, and this allows you to move the circle with the red circle somewhere into the intersection of 2 other circles. Next thing to do is about the scope. So you can see there are lots of trees on this picture, and we are not interested in all these trees. we are interested in particular things and sometimes particular functionality of the product that we want to test. Why is it so? Because nobody will ever test the entire product and perform like 100% code audit in a product of large size with lots of lines of code and stuff like that. So you need to find the scope and you need to agree on it in writing. So make sure you get it like the assignment, get it official, and get it from somebody who is responsible for it. It can be handler, it can be product or program manager or product owner. And here is the very nice quote from Stephen Covey. The main thing in pen test is to keep the main thing the main thing. So try to keep the main thing all the time. Before starting, do the health check together with your handler. Just go there and try to see that there are no errors in the environments you are trying to test. Try to see that all the licenses are assigned and all the product functionality, which is in scope from the previous step, all of it is enabled. Because we had an example when some part of the product was completely disabled and we figured it out after 3 weeks of the pen test and we were like, damn, this is not how it's supposed to be. So before, on the first day, get both business and development perspective, scope 3 times, make sure you test the right thing and you keep the main thing, and do the health check. Next thing, it's very important to continue utilizing the enemies or your partner's power against them. So find the allies, find the people who you can rely on in their organization. So let's say this is your first day. Do this very simple thing. Ask for the introduction to the team. I know you guys prefer maybe being outside of the spotlight. You prefer being like somewhere in the dark corner, wearing your hoodie. All of you have dark hoodies, right? Yeah, and just hacking stuff. But do this very inconvenient thing for you and ask for the introduction on the first day, because you don't want to stay in the shadow. Because staying in the shadow is bad, because team cannot ask you questions, and sometimes developer know where the problem is. They know what needs to be improved. They know where security issues are, and they will approach you as soon as they know you are there. But sometimes they never know. They just see, oh, there are some really strange guys who are crawling in the corner, and maybe they will report you to the security or to the physical security of the office. So don't stay in the shadow. Another thing, find your champion. You may say you already have a handler, but sometimes handler is not your champion. So who is the champion? It's the person who knows the product, has interest in security and basic knowledge of it, sees you as not enemy, kind of sympathizes you or has some passion to what you do, has time to help. It's not the person who is involved in business trips around the world all the time. And this person can work in any role, because it's sometimes pen testers look only at developers because developers develop product. But who else can know the product? QAs are the perfect example. QAs, brilliant QAs with interest to security may play a big role. However, judging by these qualities, does this person ever exist? Maybe, maybe no, but it's kind of a superhero. But we know superheroes exist, so it's okay. You will find them. Another life hack, before going there to hack everything, ask the champion you identified to draw the product architecture map. You may say you already got access to the docs, you understand how it works, but if you ask a security-minded person to draw it like in front of you, they will do a brilliant job pointing at like some weak spots in the application just for you, and because they get your perspective and they're your champions. So it really works. We tried it a few times and the results are really amazing. We're getting something completely different from the official documentation architecture maps from that. The final step, make sure to reiterate, because the developers you work with or the product development team, they work in agile way. In agile world, everything changes every day. If pen test lasts like 5 weeks, during 5 weeks there may be 10 releases. Are you still in the scope? Are you still keeping the main thing the main thing? It may change. So make sure you always keep what is relevant and you reiterate. You can reiterate with your handler, with your champion. You can try to approach developers. It's a quick process. It's just, okay, is it right? Did I get it correctly? Am I testing the right thing now? That's how it works. So to recap, get introduction to the team. Find your champion. It may be hard, but try to do that, or use your handler for that, and reiterate, be agile. Finally, chapter 3, you all love it. It's like going there and hacking everything that moves, infiltrating the product, the enemy territory. I have no practical recommendations to you because you are the stars, you know your stuff, this is you on the scene or behind the drums. You do it really good, so just do it. Just do it, and because you already have all the tools and instruments you need, and you keep reiterating. Another thing, just only one suggestion, meet the dev team just in the middle of their exercise. So let's say you have 3 or 4 weeks of the pen test. Meet them after the 2nd week. And this is the difference comparing to reiterating. Reiterating is like 5 minutes check, but meeting the dev team is kind of presenting them with your findings or saying, okay, we did this. This is what we found. Is it relevant? What do you think? You can provide them with your feeling about application. Let's say we found some bunch of cross-site scripting bugs. And they may say, yeah, this is because we had this terrible guy who wrote all the web front end and he was like completely useless or something like that. But it keeps you being in the spotlight for development team, and not only after the introduction, but on the entire way. All right, chapter 4. We came to writing the report. And is it your face when you have to write a report? I bet it's not. This is your face when you have to write a report, right? But there are just a few simple tricks which will make your life easier, and you will not end up there. First of all, try to base it on purpose. If you feel that business is having more interest or being like the end user of your report, try to add some use case examples. You can even add some like real world examples saying remote code execution led to this particular hack in 1958 or something. No, it didn't. Add risk rating reasoning. So why critical is critical? Because business folks, they really love to talk and they really love to understand why critical is so critical. So add it for them and keep more details in the report on how you did it, which tools did you use, so that they can brag about it in their chats with customers. I see there is yeah, cool. If you make a report for developers, obviously include very detailed steps how to reproduce the problem. With screenshots, with like really dumb steps, but do that. They will love you for that for their entire life. Add exploit details. What exactly is problematic? Why is it so important to not have it? Not just say this is XSS, but add more information. Why is it critical? Again, this is somehow overlaps with business folks, but keep it more technical. And finally, give them actionable recommendations. Not just general things saying validate your input, but more like in this particular case, how you can fix that. So you kind of doing their job and they will love you and they will say, okay, where are our favorite pen testing guys? And the next time you will obviously be hired by the company again. And the final thing, when you're writing the external report, if the company asks you for a report to show to their customers, just don't be shy. Just say in that report why you are the best company to perform the pen test. Tell them about your kick-ass process. Tell them that you are completely the best. And you used all the most powerful, most up-to-date tools. it really, they will love to go with that report like this, saying, hey, look at our pen test, it's amazing. The next thing, send out the details of the findings early. This blurry picture, really blurry picture, represents an email I've got from one of the pen testers, like 15 minutes after they found some vulnerability. We agreed with them that they don't wait for fixing the problem, or they don't wait for a report. They just, once they found something, they send it to me. And this was high-level vulnerability on one of our server products. It was fixed by the development team 15 minutes later. So, I mean, it still ended up in the report, but it was fixed. And in the retest, in the last step, we will not have to do anything about it. So that's kind of keeping it agile. And don't wait for them to ask you for the full report. Ask them just, can we send you the details now? You can work with them. You can start right now. You can start fixing them right now, and they will be happy to do so. And the last thing, very important, prepare to stand your ground. Because when you approach, when you have your report in hands, and when you say, this is critical, there will be me saying, no, this is high. Because we don't want criticals in our reports, right? I will be trying to downplay your findings and say, no, this is not exploitable, or this is legacy code, it almost never is used. Then we should make it high. And then for highs, we should make it medium, and mediums shall be gone. And you need to understand which findings are crucial for you, or what is really important from the business and technical perspective, and which findings you will never go back on. And you will never say, no, okay, this is high, I agree with you. You can explain them your position. You can say why you think so. But make sure you are that guy in the picture standing still against these, triangles of predators. So recap, target the right audience, send the draft and vulnerabilities early enough, and keep your integrity. All right, now it's time to face your fears or the predator again. It's a retest. Let's say retest if it happens like 10 weeks from getting the assignment. First of all, beforehand, ask them to keep the environments. Because the environments where you tested it, where they set up build and all this, debugging for their application, it's really valuable. You can retest the finding in a few minutes with that environment, but usually they remove them because it's like, what was that 2 months ago? What is this machine is doing there? Who is the owner? I don't know, delete. And then you will spend some time, and then they will get billed for your hours, and then we'll say, well, this retest is so expensive, we will never hire this guy again. Another thing which helps you to stay on schedule is agreeing with the customer on the due date of the retest. So let's say you come to them and you say, guys, can you fix it in 2 months? We are really busy. We have a slot in 2 months for the retest. And they say, yeah, we can do it. And it helps you to be busy as well. Because if you have different assignments, sometimes you just sit out there and there is nothing to do until the next week. But if you plan it with the customer, it really helps you to plan it properly. And the last thing, do something what I'm doing now here. This talk is like the presentation of a big retrospective with very different pen testing teams we had experience with. And this retrospective, it just asks them questions. What in the pen test went well? What didn't work that good? What you should start doing, what you should stop doing, and the same applies to them. This helps you to bond with the customer, to build this relationship of continuous improvement, and then they will feel that you are trying to improve from your side, and you are trying to help them improving from their end. And again, it will end up, it will be a positive investment into your relationship with the customer. Finally, what the future have in it for us. So what you can make money on, or which trends will be popular like in 1 year. So first of all, I see more and more pen testing teams move into the remote pen testing. Because today, with the security that cloud can provide us with some different things like confidential computing or VDIs or other things, you can completely test the product, the application, being on distance. You can have VPN, you can have access to the working environment, and you can do it. And again, it's up to you to plan your efforts properly. And if you have some pool of pen testers in your company, you can always arrange them into this remote pen testing exercise for a week, for example. When you are on-prem at customer, you can clearly see their secure development lifecycle stages. You can see how they do training, how they design, implement, verify, and release the software. And you can offer the assessment of these things to them. Because this will be a really powerful tool for them to get this report as well. And it will, again, but you have to have an expert on that topic. But if you can do it, it will be amazing. CI and CD audit, you built the application, you know more or less how it works, you know how they built their application, but how they sign it, how they distribute it, it's all, there are small bits, and sometimes their CI and CD system is bad, sometimes their Jenkins is on port 80, and sometimes their certificates are stored like everywhere on the developers' machines, and you can sign anything with that certificate. So just do this audit, propose it to them, and you can do it like as part of your assignment, saying, hey, we are offering you, just we want our relationship to be strong, we are offering you this audit. And it will be really helpful for them and very nice from your side. Finally, you can offer the report-based training. So what does it mean? If you have a report, if you've seen all the issues of the customer, you understand what went wrong with their development, what didn't work, where are their weaknesses, you can just say, let's train in these areas. We are offering you one-day training that will help you to never have these problems again with your development teams. And we know the problems. Developers know us. They can work with us. They trust us. And I mean, it's a win-win situation for both company and you. And looking at this picture, remember that you are in the spotlight, and when you are doing the pen test exercise, the show is on you, the report is on you, the findings are on you. So just go there and rock the stage, be that star, be this star. Thank you for listening. You can, if you want to contact me, there is a Twitter down there, Dosh, and I have a small blog that nobody reads. And your questions are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I be the first one with question? Because I already have a microphone, okay? So my question is, during this process, you mentioned that it's good to share the intermediate results, like sending on the email, etc., etc. How do you think, instead of emailing, what if pentest team will create a bug in issue tracker, like immediately for the development team? How do you think? Is it useful, or if it's just a hassle, or?
Yeah, in case of emailing, the email goes through me, for example, if I'm the handler, and then I can create a PBI from that, or issue, or whatever, that corresponds to the practices that are like company policies for PBIs and stuff. Because we tried that before when pen testers created, and they were like not really happy about that, because they say it takes some time because you give us this very strict templates and we just fill there mechanically. Instead, we could find more vulnerabilities. It took us like 4 hours just to fill those forms. And I can do it, or I can assign it to some of the developers or whoever, and maybe some of the issues will never end up in the backlog if they're like not confirmed by development team. So it's like a trade-off. You can ask the pen testers to do it, but in my opinion, it's a bit of like a wasting of time.
Okay, got it. So it depends on your processes, depends on your issue tracker, etc.
Yeah.
Thank you. Есть ли у нас еще вопросы? Any more questions? Yes? No? Are you tired?
It's
Видимо.
beer is waiting.
Хорошо. Тогда спасибо большое.
Спасибо.